Greg, after what transpired Wednesday, you guys shoot the lights out, hold off at the end there, get that defensive stop. Coach talked about kind of the use of analytics and how he kind of applied that and said, hey, you got to make Appleby go left. You got to try to make him go left. He's not as effective. How much do you guys, as players, utilize analytics within studying tape and studying film in your next opponent?
We actually use that a lot. That's one thing, like Coach said it, he preached that to us too. He made sure we knew our analytics on every team we get ready to play. We know that they was good at shooting threes. We know their percentages wise, and they was good in that aspect. But yeah, we use it against every team we play. We got to be ready for whatever that team like to do well on a night in, night out basis. So we got to be ready.
Is that something that's new for you, or I don't know what you guys were able to do at Marquette, but is that something that's new for you, maybe even here?
Oh no, that's something I've been doing for a while. Probably for a younger guy, maybe, but it's something I've been doing for a minute.
Greg, how much college basketball do you watch in your spare time? Do you just focus on, your teams on your schedule and your own film, or do you enjoy just turning on a random Big East game or a Big 12 game on ESPN?
Yeah, I like watching any college basketball that's on for real. And then it's like in this college basketball world, I've been in it so long. You grow relationships with guys, so definitely do still watch Marquette play, watch Big East teams play. But like if it's somebody I got a relationship with, I definitely watch them play.
Who are some of your favorite players in the country to watch?
I like watching Marquette. Cam Jones, he's been doing good this year. That's my guy. So I've been watching him. But I really just try and watch any game that's on. I like Michigan State. Joey Hauser, he's been playing well. Played with him at Marquette. Really just guys I really know. I like to watch them play.
Federico, I'm curious, halfway through ACC, what have you learned about playing in the conference, and where are you trying to grow your game?
I learned a lot. It's a tough conference with tough players. For me, growing my game, probably getting some more weight, some more muscle, so I can bang with bigger players.
Fetty, looking through your past, you went when you came from First Love to Northern Oklahoma. You had a lot of interest from Oklahoma State, right then too, right?
Yeah.
What happened there? Were you supposed to go to Oklahoma State?
No, they offered me, and I went to an unofficial visit.
And you just chose Northern Oklahoma over Oklahoma State?
No, it was a COVID year, so.
Oh, okay. So just your whole recruiting situation changed.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think you gained a lot from going the JUCO route, rather if you would have ended up going and playing at a Power 5 right out of your prep year? Do you think your game would be where it's at now, or are you thankful for the road that you traveled going from Northern Oklahoma to a Power 5?
I'm thankful for the road I took going to JUCO.
How's your game different because of JUCO?
I got to play more organized basketball in JUCO versus a prep.
Federico, Coach talked about your development of your offensive game. What you're able to do defensively is obviously seen you to make a huge impact that way. But he talked about you developing your skill set, back to the basket type stuff, and maybe creating some more opportunities for yourself. Where do you feel like you're at within your own development of your own offensive game?
I'm in a good spot. Like with the team like this, I don't really need to do that a lot. I got shooters, so I feel like I'm in a good spot.
Federico, can you compare the physicality of playing for the Finnish national team and the JC team compared to what you're facing now every night in the ACC?
Nah, I'm not even sure. Nah.
Obviously, it's a more physical game.
It is.
Have you gotten used to it yet?
Yeah.
Greg, we didn't ask you when Blake said it the other day about no seats in the back of the bus. When you hear that from him, what does that say to you?
It just goes to show how our team is built. Like we never thought about it as us having a key guy, main guy. We all knew as being older guys that we can't do this without one another. I won't be as good as I am if Fetty don't roll hard every time. So that's like, I get my open shots because of my teammates. So I feel like the fact that Blake said that, it just goes to show what our team means to each other. We know that we cannot do this without each other, and we work like that, and we preach that to each other, and we go along with it every day.
Hey, why did you choose Pitt coming out of the JC?
I mean, the connection with the coaches. I love their vibe and what they wanted to accomplish here. So, and I met players like John and Nike on my visit. So, and Blake. So that was a big part too.
Fede, when you get up to set a screen, for one of your guards, what's going through your mind when you're rolling off? When you're setting that screen, what's going through your mind in that whole process?
Just trying to get as many people on me so my teammates get free. So just trying to draw players on me or roll and get a basket.
And then when that ball is in your hands, if they feed you off the roll, what are you looking for there? You had a pass out to the wing last game I saw on one of those pick and rolls. Sometimes you go right up with it. What's going through your mind when you have the ball off that roll?
Looking for my teammates or a basket.
Greg, after a game, I obviously, they posted the clip on Instagram of your reaction when you saw the 18 3-pointers. What are some things, just by the way you play the game, that you look at when you look at a box score? What are some numbers that you look at maybe for yourself or just team figures that you really care about and think, okay, this indicates if we're playing well or not?
I really don't look at box scores too much. It's not really my thing.
Okay.
But if I was to look at a box score, I would probably look at a player's plus minus. I know what that means and how that translates to the game, and probably rebounds, because I feel like if you rebounded, then that means you should be out there on the floor, especially with our team. We know that's one of our weaknesses, which is rebounding. So
Something your coach will point out when it occurs is if you guys have a lot of assists per basket. I think you had 22 assists on 28 total makes, which is like the second best all season for you guys. Is that something that he preaches to you, or is that like a figure or something that you guys are cognizant of, or is that just something he points out when it happens and that's all there really is to it?
it's really one of them things that's like when we playing our best, that's something that stands out. Whenever, if you really take a chance and sit down and look at it, most of the time we played our best team basketball. The ball has been flying around, and that's the ball finding the best shot.
What's the most overrated stat in basketball in your opinion? Something that maybe is misleading.
Misleading stat?
Fede, you can answer this one too. Just interested to get your opinion on it.
Misleading? I won't say misleading. I would say underestimated would be plus minus. I don't think people pay attention to it as much as they should.
So you think that's an underappreciated stat?
Yeah, I do.
Why is that?
Because I feel like, that's sometimes stuff that goes into your plus minus is stuff that don't really show up on the box score. Like Fede being out there setting as many screens as he can and rolling as hard as he can. They don't get no stat for that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just because Fede didn't go score the ball, he still made a play that helped us score. So my 3 go on his plus minus. So I feel like that's something that don't really go noticed.
Fede, what about as a big man? Any other numbers that stick out to you?
Not really. Probably the same, plus minus.
Which one stat that the coaches, to you, Greg, that the coaches really harp on? After the game and you look at the stat sheet, what's one stat that they really talk about after every game?
Oh, rebound every time. Yeah, it's not even a hesitation. Rebound, try.
Greg, could you elaborate on what you were saying, the value of Fede setting those screens and how that contributes to the flow and the ball moving?
Yeah, that's it's a huge part. If you really think about our plays, we do a little motion here, and then at the end of the day, Fede coming to set a ball screen or G coming to set a ball screen. So I feel like if everybody know we getting ready to set a ball screen, but you don't know who's getting ready to get the ball after that, that's where the problems start. Because if Fede rolls as hard as he can to the basket, we know he can catch the basketball, so it's not like we're not looking for him. So he rolled to the basket. That's putting, like he said, he's trying to get at least 2 people to come towards him, at least one person to run towards him, which is going to open up the backside for me, Nike, whoever it is. But if he doing his job, it just comes down to doing your job. When Fede doing his job, which is on offense setting screens and rolling, and on defense making sure everything, he's the one that really quarterback our defense. He makes sure nothing get to our paint. And if it do get to our paint, he's not letting it get to the rim. So I feel like Fede's job has been to do what he's been doing, and he's been doing it at a high level.
Fede, last week we talked to Guillermo about you two competing against each other in practice. He said, you're someone that pushes him around, kind of makes him better, improves him inside the paint. How does Guillermo help you out become a better player?
A lot of ways. He got length too, so scoring is not that easy over him.
Greg, and on Saturday, the 2003 Big East Tournament champion team is getting honored. You played in the Big East, but it's a little different compared to when Pitt was in it. What do you know about the old Big East days?
Mainly all I know is it was just like pride on toughness, being grittier than your opponent, and every night was just a smash mind with just fight. Every night you fighting against the team you're going against, and I heard that every crowd in the Big East around that time was all hectic. So
Was it like that when you were playing in it?
yeah, for sure, it was definitely smash mouth basketball. Come in, try and take whatever you do, you try and take it away from you. It was definitely like that. It probably wasn't as big as, because it wasn't as many teams like it was back then, but it definitely still is.
What was it like playing in a Big East tournament in the Garden?
Oh, it was lit for real. It's an experience I'll never forget. It's like, for like some people they never been. Like I did it 5 years straight. So like, once I didn't go because of COVID, because we was getting ready to play that night, and Creighton and St. John's got canceled. But yeah, I've been there 4 years, 5. It was definitely an experience I'll never forget.
This is for go ahead, Jared.
Greg, I know you're not surprised that Pitt is 7-3 and with a slew of quad 1 and quad 2 wins, but if I had asked you at the beginning of the season that you think you guys are going to be that successful, what would you have said?
I'd have said yeah.
What do you like about these guys when you first got together with them on the court?
It was really just how resilient they was. I've been asked this a lot. When did I know our team was going to be special? I said it every time when we came back from Brooklyn. We was 1-3, and then based on the past of Pitt basketball, it would have been easy for us to just crawl up and just say, well, it's another year that goes down the drain. But to see every one of these guys come in that next day ready to work, it told me everything I needed to know about this team, that we was going to fight no matter what was going on, good, bad, ugly, that we was going to be ready. And our coaches had put us in positions to be ready for every game we play, and then it just come down to us having our willingness to fight, and we showed it.
Did they have the same attitude after the Florida State game?
Yeah, it was just we felt like we let one slip away, but it's human nature. It happens sometimes. You can't dwell on that, because at the end of the day, if we would have dwelled on that, we probably wouldn't have beat Wake Forest, and that game probably wouldn't even been close, because we'd have been thinking about the Florida State game.
Greg, Nelly had struggled with shooting the ball over the last couple of games before Wednesday. You kind of turned it around a bit. When you've kind of been on these streaks before, I'm assuming, where you've been hot, you've been cold, you've been feeling it, you haven't. How do you kind of break through that kind of thing? What's that been like from your perspective?
You just gotta trust your work, and at the end of the day, you gotta remember to have fun with this. We put so much on ourselves to play this game at such a high level that we forget that people want to switch places with us in a heartbeat. We're doing something that's amazing. So I feel like at the end of the day, we are doing something. We competing against others, but you got to remember to have fun and not take this game so serious, because at the end of the day, it's going to weigh on you, especially if you feel like you're not playing up to the capabilities that you have for yourself. So I feel like at the end of the day, if Nelly, me, whoever it is having a shooting slump, if you don't go out there and have fun and remain confident in yourself, then it won't work out.
This is for both of you. I'll start with you, Federico. Miami tomorrow, obviously a top 20 matchup, really good team coming here. What's the challenge in facing a team like that?
We went through the scout. They got good guards, so stopping them from getting paint, the shooting, getting off of ball screens, just defending, any stops.
Greg, anything to add?
Really just making sure we contain them in transition. They won't get out and play. Like he said, they got good guards. And at the same time, we got to be focused. Just because they got good guards don't mean other players not ready to go score, taper to score, because everybody on their team feel like they can go at any given moment. So we just got to be ready to play defense, rebound the basketball, and the rest to take care of yourself.
Greg, most of the guys in your rotation show the ability to shoot it from the outside. What's it going to take for the guy to your left to start shooting threes?
That's probably going to be a coach's decision right there. I don't have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell him, Fred. 2 or 3 out there, I saw it.
I see he put his work in, definitely.
Can he shoot?
Yeah, I seen Fetty knock down a few of them.
Greg, what about defending Wong? What stands out to you about him?
The fact that there's no such thing as a bad shot for him. Playing with that type of confidence is something that you got to be like you gotta have a mindset that no such thing. Like he doesn't think a shot he's gonna take is bad. So you gotta make him take contested shots, 2s, 3s, whatever it is, and you gotta live with the result from there. You can't let him get no easy baskets. He love to get to the free throw line. So we gotta do our work early, keep him away from the free throw line. And if he ain't contested shots, then you gotta live with it.
Greg, I've heard you say and other guys say that they get a lot of joy out of playing basketball. You really do. I can see that by the way you play. Where did that come from? Where did you first get that feeling about basketball?
I probably got it when I was young, like 3rd, 4th grade. Cause it's just, that's why I got into basketball. I needed something to do, and it take my energy towards anything, So I found joy in playing the game, learning the game, and then the more I got better at the game, the more fun it got. Cause it's like, man, I understand this, and I can help other people understand it, and then that's what made it fun. So I feel like, and then like ever since I've been a kid, it's like you can't let nobody take that joy away. I don't care how old you get. If you can still lace them up and go out there and play, then have fun doing
You think coaching's in your future?
it. Maybe I can see it.
You and KJ have that tradition you guys do before every game. Where'd that come up? How'd that develop?
I don't. So at first, like when first it started, he just would, he wouldn't even hike it at first. He just would just throw me the ball, and then over time, he just started adding more to it, and then kept adding to it, and then now we got our whole little routine. I go in motion, he go to the side, check the call from coach. They get a little pressure on them sometimes. It's just some fun. Like I said, you got to keep it light. We know we get ready to go into a game that means a lot because we've been playing so well, every game means a lot. So it's like, we still got to, we ready for whatever that's getting ready to happen on this court, but you still got to enjoy this moment and have fun. Like
You had Kenny Pickett on the baseline. Why didn't you get him involved?
Honestly, I ain't know Kenny was there. Kenny wanted to come throw me a pass too, though. He definitely could have. I definitely was going to catch it.
This is for both of you. Speaking of KJ, he does the pregame handshakes with the introductions. Who comes up with those, and what do you think of those?
With me and KJ's, I feel like, I want to say he came up with it. He just was like, Greg, what's what we going to do? Because I think Steph Curry had started doing this like a while ago, and I'm a shooter, so I was like, we just going to do that. That's how we came up with it.
What about yours, Federico?
KJ.
You didn't come up with that?
No, it's KJ.
Greg, last game against Wake Forest, they were throwing different defenses at you pretty much the entire game. In the first half, they went to a 1-3-1, stayed in it for a bit. How do you feel your team communicated during those moments when they would switch during a possession, after a basket, or out of a timeout? How do you feel your team communicated through that?
I feel like we had times where we did good, and we had times where we didn't do so good. So it was one of them things that was like, I feel like we did better with it after a timeout per se. Like our coaches was aware, like they get ready to switch defenses, something like that. So like when they did it on the fly, it took us some time to figure it out. But once we figured it out, I feel like it worked out in our favor a little bit because we got open threes and stuff like that. But when it was just on random, I feel like that's when it gave us a little bit of problem.
Even after some baskets in all games this year, you guys huddle up sometimes, both teams do it occasionally, but what goes on in those quick little huddles before a free throw, before an inbounds pass?
So first you try and get the call from coach, whatever that may be offensively, if it's on the inbounds for us. And then if it's like before a free throw, we just remind each other to box out. Or sometimes coach trying to get his call in before they tell us what play we getting ready to run. So usually that's what goes down. We telling each other, like, box out, or you never know, it could be 1-on-1. Like, it's a 1-on-1, it's not 2 shots. Be ready. This first one live. It's just whatever the game moment, game situation may be. We talk about that real quick and then move on to the next play.
Was talk important when you were up Marquette? I know.
Yeah, talk. You got to talk. I feel like there is no such thing as a successful team that's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
If you come in our gym and it's quiet, most of the time that means we're not doing too well. So if you're on a good team or a successful team, it should be loud.
Thanks, guys.